Good Chodesh. We are learning Mishnayos Chagiga, Perek Aleph, Chapter 1, Mishna Vav, Mishna 6. Okay, so I've been mentioning a person who comes to the Beis Hamikdash on the Shalosh Regalim, Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkos, has to bring two karbanos. They have to bring an Eilas Re'iyah, an Eilah carbon, and a Shalmei Chagiga, and a Shlamim carbon. So now, the Mishnah reads, Mi Shaloi Chag B'Yom Tov Harishon Shal HaChag. Someone who did not celebrate, which means someone who did not bring his karbanos, his sacrifices, on the first day of Sukkos, which sounds like you should be bringing on the first day of Sukkos. And yes, initially, you should be trying to bring them on the first day. But if you did not bring them on the first day, Chaygeg es kol haregel, you can then celebrate. That's just the definition of the word. But you could bring those sacrifices for the rest of the holiday, for the rest of the Yontif, the Yom Tov ha'achron shel ha'chag, and the last day of the festival. Now, what I really should have pointed out is that the word hachag in this Mishnah, which typically translated as the festival, but whenever the Mishnah refers to chag, just straight chag, it means Sukkos. And therefore, the way you have to really translate this Mishnah is someone who does not bring his karbanos on the first day of Sukkos. Chaygas kol haregel, he can now bring them for the rest of Yontif. That means over Chol Hamoed. The Yom Tov ha'achron shel ha'chag, and the last day of Yontif of Sukkos. The last Yom Tov of Sukkos is Shmini Atzeres. So even though the point of the Mishnah here is that even though Shmini Atzeres is considered regel b'fnei atzmai, it's considered a Yontif on its own in many ways, nonetheless, when it comes to being able to bring the sacrifices that you have to bring when you come up for Sukkos, they can be done on Shmini Atzeres. The same halacha applies to Pesach, just that for Pesach, you don't bring it the first day. You're supposed to bring it the first day of Pesach. If you didn't, you have the rest of Yontif to do so. That means you have the rest of Chol Hamoed to do so, and I would assume also the last day of Yontif. You basically have a total of 7 days to be able to do it. Shavuos, even though it's only 1 day of Yontif, if you didn't bring it on the Yontif, on the day of Yontif itself, the Torah also gives us 6 days afterwards to make it up, even though those days aren't actually Yontif. These are all derived from the Torah. So the point of the Mishnah is that it really applies to any of the Shalosh Regalim, that you have to bring the Eilas Re'iyah and the Shalmei Chagiga, that if you're supposed to bring it on the first day. If you didn't, you have the rest of Yontif to bring. When it comes to Sukkos, not only you have the rest of Sukkos to bring it, but you could also bring it on Shmini Atzeres. For Pesach, you have the last 6 days of Pesach to bring it. For Shavuos, you have 6 days after Shavuos to be able to bring it. Avar haregel v'lo chag. Now let's say Yontif passed and you did not bring your carbon. It's all over. The whole week is done. You did not bring the carbon. Eino chai b'achriyusa. You're not obligated to make it up. Meaning, if you missed it on Yontif, done. You missed it. There's no obligation to actually go and make it up. And if you decide that after Yontif, I want to bring an Eilah and I want to bring a Shlamim in honor of Yontif, it may count it'll count as a voluntary carbon, but it's not going to count as your fulfillment of the mitzvah, of your obligation of bringing the Eilah, the Eilah and the Shlamim you have to bring for Yontif. Al Zeh Namar, regarding this, it states, Mu'uves la yucha liskain. Literally translated means something crooked that cannot be fixed. V'chesron la yochel imanos, and something missing that cannot be counted. Bottom line, as we say, you snooze, you lose, right? You missed it out, you can't make it up. And therefore, even though you want to make it up, it's too late. There's certain things that they have a specific time for doing it. If you miss the time, you miss the time. Another example that's used is the time for Kriya Shema. There's a specific time for fulfilling the mitzvah of Kriya Shema. If you missed the time for fulfilling the mitzvah of Kriya Shema, you can't make it up. There's no making up. There's like halakha when you put on your tefillin, say Kriya Shema anyway. But at the end of the day, when it comes to actual mitzvah, there's a specific time for doing it. You miss the time, you miss it on the mitzvah. That's the point here also. If you miss the time for bringing the karbanos, then there's no way to make it up. Okay. Now, the next talk on the Chofetz Chaim. We've been talking about the situation where a person speaks lashon hara about someone in front of 3 people, how there are opinions that say that one of those 3 those 3 people, if they were to repeat the lashon hara, would not necessarily be, they would not be transgressing the prohibition of speaking lashon hara, because it's called davar asur leskalos, something that's going to become well known. It's become well known. There's no prohibition of lashon hara on that. And again, he's following that opinion right now. And then he gave us different details even according to that opinion. And now he says like this: if let's say the person who said this lashon hara in front of 3 people told people, do not repeat this. This, I'm letting you know this, do not repeat it. Even if it's in front of many people, not just 3, many people. But he made it known to all of them that what he's letting them know should not be repeated. Yesh b'mishum lashon hara. Then, if one of those 3 people repeat it, it is lashon hara. Mishigala achar kach afilu b'mikra. It's going to be lashon hara for anybody who reveals it, even in passing. But passing meaning even if he's not intending to pass it on, to spread it more, he just mentioned it. It's going to be lashon hara. Even if you see the other 2 people are not heeding this warning and they're spreading it to others, nonetheless, this 3rd person, there is no permission for him to repeat this. Once the person who went ahead and said this lashon hara, even in front of many people, said not to repeat it, he's not allowed to repeat it. Have a wonderful day and a good Chodesh.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.